Hey, so I sometimes get asked if I have any tips for people who are starting out teaching guitar, any tips for them getting started or for people that kind of have a running business going on. So I thought I'd put together this quick video just giving you some tips and ideas to get you started. So first thing guys, what do you need to get started? You'll need some sort of qualification to prove to people that you have the skills that you need to be able to deliver what they want. As a bit of a rule of thumb, I always think kind of having at least a kind of diploma level qualification is probably a good point to start at. A diploma is a post-grade 8 qualification, and I think that's probably a good benchmark to aim for if you're looking to be able to charge people for your time. Next, you're probably going to need, whether you're working with children or not, you're going to need some sort of DBS clearance or check. A DBS certificate basically proves that you are safe to work with children. It will come in the form of a certificate, and it gives people that extra peace of mind. I think whether you're teaching children or not, I think it's something that you should have, again, if you're going to go out and you start charging people for your time and providing lessons. Public liability cover is something you should definitely get. It will protect you and it will protect others when you're out and about teaching, whether it's delivering lessons at other people's houses or places or in your house. Things like tripping over and injury and damage to goods should all be covered under your public liability cover. So definitely looking to get some public liability cover if you're looking to teach in any capacity. Next thing to consider guys is, what are you actually going to teach? Now that is quite a general question. Obviously it depends on a number of factors including your expertise. Let's assume you're just starting out and you're going to be teaching across sort of general acoustic, rock, electric styles. What are you actually going to teach? Largely that is up to you. I would recommend a few things however. I would certainly think about using grades because they provide a great sort of benchmark and something to work towards. I'd investigate all the big exam boards, RGT, Rock School, Trinity, do some stuff and just perhaps do some research into their books, see what you like, get a few of the books so at least you've got a kind of starting point if people are interested in doing grades. I would look at have something in place for if you're going to teach beginners, which you probably will be, so whether that's like a book that you've got or it's like a series, it's a plan. The main thing guys is that you need a plan. So you need a series of kind of things that you're going to be teaching them that you've got pre-planned, so when you show up for your first lesson you've got a path that they're going to be started on. Things like practice diaries are really good. It doesn't have to be an actual diary, it just has to be a little book, particularly for kids because you can keep a record of what you're doing with dates on, so it proves a kind of chronological order of what you've been working on and it shows that you've got a plan and you're implementing it. Other little things to consider which you may already, get yourself some like tab sheets if you're going to use tab, some blank chord sheets, maybe just some general worksheets that you've put together like some riffs. There's loads of stuff you can do, spend an afternoon putting together this stuff so that you've got a big folder full of stuff that you're able to reference as and when you need it. You're qualified and insured, you've sorted out what you're going to teach, what's next, how do you actually get started? Now this is applicable for people even if you've already got some sort of student base going on. The first thing you do need to think about is having a website. Some people would say that you don't need a website, you just use social media. I would disagree. I think that because of the way Google works, everybody goes to Google for absolutely everything. You need a website. The good news is you don't have to pay for a website these days. Just get a basic website, guys. You don't need anything flash. It just needs to be kind of a photo of you, maybe a little bit about your playing, your experience. Keep it succinct, keep it really neat. People are much more likely to read it. Obviously, contact details somewhere on the website so people can get in touch. I would put together a little kind of flyer or PDF thing that you can maybe, if you're going to hand it out, or you might use it on kind of posting on forums and things, which I'll talk about in a minute. But just again, like basically what's on your website, a little photo review, perhaps you want to put your price on there, and a little bit about what you offer. Again, just knock it up in a PDF, make it look neat, make it look succinct. That's really important. Google listings is absolutely fantastic. If you go on Google, you can list your business. Again, you can just have your name, guitar teacher, it doesn't have to be a big business name, and that way people can find you because you can link it to your address and people can review you. So if you've got some particularly happy students, you can ask them for a review and that will push you up the listings. What's even better than that is that you can list with regard to where you live. So if you live in Aberdeen, when people search for guitar teachers in Aberdeen, your name should come up on Google. So that's a definite. I will link to that below so that you can create your own My Business page. Social media pages I think are important, and personally I wouldn't go overboard and get Twitter and Instagram and all of them necessarily. I think probably Facebook is the main one because of the way that you can post in forums, I think is really good. So you've got everything in place, insurance, you're covered, you've got your teaching material, you've got your lovely looking website. How do you actually go about getting that all out there? A few things I would suggest, guys. I would get your lovely shiny new flyer and I would go to your local schools close to you and ask if they're happy to display the flyer on their notice board. Provided the school are happy to do so, if they can see that you've got a DBS certificate and that you have some experience and you look like a nice guy or girl, I'm sure they'll be happy to do so. You're also going to be hitting a large target audience of potential people who would like to learn an instrument, and it doesn't cost the school anything for them to have your flyer on the notice board or wherever it is that parents might be able to see it. I wouldn't worry about doing any online listings to start with, guys, necessarily. I think you need to exhaust all the free avenues first before you worry about paying to advertise. You should exhaust all the free community listings. Facebook is fantastic. If you go and search your local town, there'll be several community pages where local businesses are offering their services. Go and ask the admin if they're happy for you to post a flyer about guitar lessons. Again, it costs absolutely nothing and you've got a massive reach of people that live in your area who are interested in things like that. So that is a must. There are similar things on Mumsnet and Gumtree, which could bring you mixed results, but it's probably worth a try considering it, again, as I said, it is free. I think the main thing with any advertising, guys, is that you make sure you look presentable, it looks good. You don't need to hire a graphic designer, but at the same time, you need to put some effort into presenting it and not using kind of fonts from 1991. Make sure it looks good. My final tip would just be to make sure that on any advertising you put out there, whether it's your website or Facebook or whatever it is, you make sure you've got a photo of yourself. I think that's really important. I think people are less likely to trust an advert or a flyer from someone where there's no photo of them, as opposed to a nice big photo of them smiling. YouTube obviously is a good one to mention for obvious reasons, allowing people to see what you're like and how you talk and possibly how you teach. So is it worth possibly filming a couple of quick lessons on YouTube of you teaching a simple idea? Absolutely, people can get a feel for what you're like, feel what your approach is like, and I think that's a really good thing. Does it mean that you're going to break YouTube and you're going to get 40,000 views in the first hour? Possibly not. But does it mean that people are going to be able to see you from your Google advert, click on your page, and then see you've got a YouTube page with a couple of lessons? I think the nature of the internet these days is people want as much information about whoever they're talking to as possible. So a quick couple of videos of you teaching a couple of simple concepts is a fantastic idea. I would definitely recommend it. Remember that the one thing that you're selling is you, your personality and your approach, and that is what people will invest in. Finally, the subject of pricing, which is a very, very difficult one. The bottom line for this that I would say to anyone, and I say it to myself, is you've got to find a figure that you feel happy charging people. If people come and ask you what your price is and you feel a bit shy about telling them because you're not sure you're really worth it, then you're not charging the right amount. Okay, you need to feel confident with the amount you're charging and feeling that yourself that you're able to offer that level of value to people. In terms of publishing your rates on your website, again, that's completely up to you guys. That's a decision you have to make. I don't think that many people tend to do that. It's not something that I personally do. Mainly for the reason you don't always know what you're dealing with. If you're going to be dealing with travel, you need to know how far you're going to go so you can factor in how much that might cost. People might be asking about group lessons, which again is a complete variable, so you need to know a bit more information usually before quoting people. The final thing I'd say, guys, is that what you're doing is a business. You are running a business. I'm sure I've said it before in the early days, and I think I even know people who've said, oh, I'm going to start running it a bit more like a business. It is a business. You are taking money off people and you are spending money on providing the service and you are making a profit, whether you like it or not. So I think it's important to try and keep your costs down as much as you can. Don't skimp on things that are really important, but at the same time, you don't need to go and spend £50 a month on Google AdWords when you're just starting out. So guys, I hope that provides some cool tips for you. If you enjoyed it, let me know. And if you've got any questions whatsoever, do get in touch. Cheers.